We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Ukraine, China, North Korea, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Biden made an unannounced visit to the Ukrainian capital of Kiev on Monday in a show of solidarity with Ukraine several days ahead of the anniversary of Russia's invasion of the country. Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and announced an additional $500 million in U.S. aid, demonstrating America's commitment to helping Ukraine fight back against Russia. 1 year later, Kiev stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands, Biden said. His stop in Ukraine came ahead of a publicly scheduled 2-day trip to Poland. Biden has vowed to support Kiev as long as it takes, and made supporting Ukraine central to his push for revitalizing the Western Defense Alliance in Europe. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield on Sunday said China would be crossing a red line if it sent Russia weapons to help in its invasion of Ukraine. We welcome the Chinese announcement that they want peace, because that's what we always want to pursue in situations like this. But we also have to be clear that if there are any thoughts and efforts by the Chinese and others to provide lethal support to the Russians in their brutal attack against Ukraine, that is unacceptable, Thomas-Greenfield said in an interview on CNN's State of the Union. A day earlier, U.S. officials told NBC News that the United States believes China might already be providing Russia with non-lethal aid. North Korea on Monday fired 3 missiles in a sign of escalating tensions with the United States, South Korea, and Japan. North Korea also issued a warning after the U.S., South Korea, and Japan held aerial drills on Sunday in response to a Saturday intercontinental ballistic missile test by North Korea. That missile came down in waters off Japan's main northern island of Hokkaido. We affirm once again that there is no change in our will to make the worst maniacs escalating the tension pay the price for their action, Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of leader Kim Jong-un, said, as quoted by official state media. In sad news, former President Jimmy Carter entered hospice care at his home in Plains, Georgia on Saturday. The former president's charity, the Carter Center, said in a statement that Carter had decided to spend his remaining time at home with his family instead of receiving additional medical treatment following a series of hospital stays. He has the full support of his family and his medical team, the statement added. The 98-year-old Carter is the longest-living president in American history. He was elected the 39th president in 1976, narrowly defeating incumbent Gerald Ford to win the White House. Following his one term, Carter became known for his humanitarian efforts and his work with Habitat for Humanity. And in another sad note, actor Richard Belzer, known both for his edgy stand-up comedy and his role as cynical TV detective John Munch on Homicide: Life on the Street and Law & Order Special Victims Unit, died Sunday at his home in southwest France. He was 78. Belzer's film debut came in the cult comedy The Groove Tube in 1974. But the work many TV audiences know him for is his portrayal of Detective Munch from 1993 on the first Homicide episode until 2016 on Law & Order SVU. He said in a recent interview with the Boomer Tube that the character's paranoia and anti-establishment dissidence fit well with his own personality. I would never be a detective, but if I were, that's how I'd be, he said. Belzer also held the record for portraying Detective Munch in the most television shows of any actor, having portrayed the same character in not just Homicide, but Law & Order SVU, The X-Files, The Wire, Arrested Development, and others. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.